で、if, oh, sorry. So if I change the cutting plane on the planning screen, then this value can change automatically. And then adjust the cutting angle, cutting plane, so as to this is balanced. Or the balance means equal medial and lateral or slightly lateral loose and equal stable in every flexion angle. But ideally, extension is slightly tight and the flexion is slightly loose. Maybe that is ideal. But this is different between the CR and the PS. So you might join the last TKA conference in the COVID university. In the situation is difference between PS and CR. In the CR, loose flexion gap is beneficial to get the deflection angle, but in terms of PS, the loose flexion gap can decrease the patient outcome. So that is the difference. So anyway, so we can manage this gap balance. The final goal of functional alignment is adjust the gap. So slightly lateral loose or equal is doesn't matter. That is depend on the surgeon's philosophy. If the surgeon want to make the slightly lateral loose gap, so the surgeon can control. If the surgeon want to make the equal gap, the surgeon can manage, adjust the cutting angle to get the equal balance gap. It depends on the surgeon philosophy. Anyway, so the final goal is to make the gap. That is the difference. The preoperative articular surface doesn't matter in this functional alignment philosophy. That is quite difference between the functional alignment and the kinematic alignment. The final goal of kinematic alignment is to reproduce the pre-disease articular surface using the component. So gap is secondary. They believe that if we reproduce the patient native articular surface, the gap can be balanced automatically. Well, that is the difference. So they prove that one, and in some papers show that. But this functional alignment is the final goal is to get the balance gap. This is an extreme case of gap balancing technique. So that is the difference. Do you understand the difference? So do you know there are two types of TKA philosophy basically? So without test anyway robot. Anyway, there are two types of TKA surgeon. Do you know? One is a major resection. Well, that maybe the surgeon will be the CR user. Another one is the gapper. So their priority is gap. And alignment and morphology is secondary. The final goal of makes the balanced gap. That is the gapper. So cutting surface should be different from the operative the patient's native articular surfaces. That is the gapper. So why do they do like this? So because they use a PS. Okay. Once we sacrifice the PCL, friction gap can enlarge. We cannot estimate the amount of friction gap extension. You understand? So as a result, so after the PS sacrifice, we should adjust the gap. Once we cut the posterior condyle and the proximal tibia, is a major resection. That means the same thickness as the component thickness. Friction gap can enlarge large. So to compensate the friction gap extension enlargement, the posterior cut thickness should be smaller. You understand? Once we cut the PCL, friction gap can enlarge. Interestingly, extending gap will not change so much, will be stable with and without PCL. But in terms of friction gap, it will enlarge. That amount is, some patients is 0. Some patient 1 centimeter. It's a big difference, big variation among the patients. So we cannot predict the estimate this amount of enlargement in the friction gap. So in such patients, the extension of the friction gap imbalance will occur in such patients. You understand? Some patient, even after the PCL sacrifice, no difference extension of friction. But some patients, after the sacrifice, so exchange gap is this one, but the friction enlarge is too much. But if we replace the femur side in the same thickness as component, some patient is, yes, well balanced. But some patient is big friction gap. That might be decrease the patient outcome and stability. So we need to decide the friction gap after the PCL cut, PCL sacrifice. So if the patient have the big friction gap after the PCL sacrifice, we need to reduce the posterior condyle cutting thickness. You understand? So why do we need the gap balancing? Because we cut the PCL. If we don't cut the PCL, extension gap and the friction gap never change theoretically. So we can just implant. We cut the bone in the same thickness as the component thickness. Okay, do you understand? So for the CR user, most surgeons do the major resection and cut the same thickness as the component thickness. That's all. Then gap balancing can be adjusted automatically. That is the gap technique. So this is functional alignment is maybe some extent case of the gap balancing technique. In the gap balancing technique, adjust only the extension reflection, 0 degrees and 90 degrees reflection. But using a robot, we can adjust every knee angle using the computer. So how do you do the gap balancing technique in the company? So anyway, I should explain about the gap balancing technique. Okay, tomorrow I will talk about how to do the gap balancing technique. Then you can understand the why some surgeon is focused on the functional alignment technique because that is a true pure gap balancing technique. using the computer devices. まあ、ギャップテクニックとメジャードテクニックの、ね、この違いですよね。このギャップの人っていうのはすごくこれ響くと思う。ギャップを合わせるっていうことがもうとにかく最終目標になってくるから。ギャップなんでそうなるか。もうすべて PCL を切るから。PCL を切ったら極進展のギャップがバラバラで、さらに切った瞬間に内側外側のバランスもすごく傾いてる。屈伸間のギャップ、それから内外側のバランスも全部取られてる。で、その状態で新たにきれいなギャップが作るような骨切り面を作ってやろうというのがギャップの方だ。だから PS の人が多い。まあ、ほとんどの人は PS 使って PS の方がまあ簡単やと言うんやけども、PS 使うからにはこういうふうなことをしないとなかなか実際には成績が安定しないわけ。PS やけどメジャードで切ってる人よく聞いてるんやけども、やっぱりついつまなわん症例っていうのが絶対出てくる。で、逆に言ったらメジャードというのは、もうその人の関節面を再現してやったら、一番ナチュラルな状態になってくるやろ。で、外側が確かにちょっと緩い。まあ、それもいいし。それが自然やろうね。骨境がちょっとだけ緩い。まあ、それもいいから自然やろ。まあ、とにかく関節面を再現してやったらええやろ。まあ、そのためにはなるべく人体の状態を残しといてやった方がいいやろというのが、まあ、メジャードの考え。だから、少なくとも PCL は残します。かといって ACL まで残したら、今度ちょっともう、あまりにも、この許容範囲がなさすぎるな。もう完全に術前というかその人のネイティブの関節面と完全に一致せえへんかったら、逆にいろいろ、キネマティックコンフリクトっていうんやけども、途中でなんか、こう、硬いところが出てきたり。で、だから ACL がないぐらいがちょうどいいわけですよ、許容してね。長所きつくても ACL がない分緩くなってくるからね。まあ、そこが考え方の違いです。はい。ということになりますので、またギャップについては明日、また改めて、前も言ったんやけど、復習するようにしましょうか。そしたらはい。じゃあ、おしまいです。はい。